Till now we have discussed about the different Hadoop ecosystem tools, and for loading the data we have seen some HDFS commands, scoop and flow, and analyzing we have seen Hive, Pig, uh, and also we have seen some tool like OG for scheduling. So these are the tools we have for analyzing the data, and also we have discussed about the some NoSQL databases. So like HBase, MongoDB, Neo4j. So we have the different kinds of NoSQL databases. So based on the project and based on the use cases, we need to go for the any one of these ecosystem tools or NoSQL databases. So if you want to analyze the data, we need to use the different Hadoop ecosystem tools based on our project flow. And if you want to store any data in NoSQL databases, we need to based on the use case. So we need to use any one of the NoSQL database. If you want to use the column-oriented data, we can go for the HBase. If you want to connect it, if you want to store the connected data, and if you have the more relations in our data, you can go for the NoSQL database. So so from that we can visualize the data. So these are the different tools, and based on project, we need to use the any one of the Hadoop ecosystem tools, or if you want to store the data like distributed or schema-less data, we need to use the NoSQL databases. So if you take any project, we'll have the different steps. So basically, we'll have the main three steps. First one is loading, second one is analyzing the data, first one is loading the data, second one analyzing the data, and third one we need to visualize the data. So whatever we have analyzing the data, we need to visualize the data. So these are the three steps. First step is loading, second step is analyzing, and third step is visualizing the data. So basically, loading data, analyzing or processing the data. So we can do manually. Generally, if you want to do any POC kind of things, so we will do manual things. Manually, we will load some data. We will execute the Hive or Pig. We will execute, and whatever the data is there, if we want to visualize, we can visualize. But in production or real time, we need to automate. We need to automate the process. So for that process, we will use the any one of the scheduling mechanism. We will use any Linux kind of cron jobs or cron tabs we can use for this scheduling. In Hadoop ecosystem itself, we have one tool called Woozy. So Woozy also we can schedule the whatever the flow. If you want to schedule the loading the data from RDMS to HDFS by using Scoop, and running the Hive queries or Pig queries. So running the Java programs or MapReduce. If you want to schedule, we can schedule the Woozy. So generally in our project, if you want to do POC, we can do manually, or if you want to automate, we need to define the flow. So first, what kind of data is there, how we can process, so how we can load into HDFS. So whether if it is RDMS data, we can load by using Scoop. If it is continuous data, we can load by Flume. Otherwise, if you have the different kinds of logs data, it is in remote machines or remote servers. If you want to load the data, we can use any kind of transformation technologies like SFTP or NFS, network file system, or file transfer protocol like secure SFTP. So by using that one, we can load the data to server machine, and from there we can load into HDFS. So that we based on our project or use case, we can use any one of the based on the data and the use case. So we need to define the how we need to design the flow, how we need to load the data into HDFS. So that is the first step. So after that, we need to analyze the data. We can analyze the data by using Hive or Pig. Hive, if you want to analyze the data by using SQL queries, we can use the Hive. If you want to analyze the data using by Pig scripts, we can analyze the data by using the Pig script. So once we analyze the data, So we will get the result data. So that data we have insert into any kind of databases. So from that databases, we can enable a ODBC or JDBC connection, and we can visualize the data. So otherwise, that is one flow. So from results data, we can put into any one of the DMS databases. So whatever the result data is, mostly it will be the analyzed data. It will be in less amount of data only will be there. So that data we can we can insert into MySQL, and from MySQL we can ODBC and JDBC we can visualize the data, and also directly Hive also we can enable the ODBC and JDBC, and we can visualize the data. So like that we can visualize the data by using any one of the reporting tools or visualization tools, and also we can by using any programming language like Java or any PHP. So we can provide the ODBC or JDBC connections, and we can visualize the data. And also REST services, also web services. Java REST services also getting popular to visualize the reading the data from the any source, any DMS or any NoSQL databases we can read, and we can display the data. So this is the flow in project. So like this we will have the flow. We need to first check the what kind of data is there. So we need to design the flow for the how we can load the data, and we can design the tools for the Hadoop ecosystem tools for the processing the data. Either any one of the tools, Hive, Pig, or MapReduce also. Some cases we can't analyze by using Hive or Pig. So some cases we need to use the MapReduce also. So like this, we need to design the tools, and we need to analyze the process, and we need to design the Hive scripts or Pig scripts we need to design for the what are the things we need to visualize. So we need to perform the queries or scripts, and we need to execute that one, and finally whatever the results we'll get, we need to visualize the data. So this is the flow any kind of project if you take in real time or POC. So this kind of flow will be there. So other than that, we need to provide the automation. So once we define the flow, we need to automate. So daily, if you are getting the data, we need to schedule the daily, and if the data is getting weekly or monthly, so based on the data input based on the input data. So input data when the data is coming daily or hourly. So based on that one, we need to schedule the full flow. We need to schedule once the data is came. So automatically we no need to load the manually. We no need to interact manually. So by automatically once the data is came, we need to put some alerts or kind of things. And we can provide the data availability check also we can do in OG. So once the data is available, then we need to automatically load the data into HDFS. Once the data is, we can check the decision kind of checkings also we can do whether the data is available or data is loaded or not. So once everything is working, so then we can go for the second step, analyzing. Then we can go for the loading the data. Once the data is there, so then visualization, whoever taking care of visualization, they can visualize the data. So this is the flow. So generally in projects, current running projects are this is what are the Hadoop different use cases is there. So this is the flow generally we will have. If you check these use cases, we'll have the different kinds of use cases, handling the social media data, web click stream data, server logs data, mission and sensor data, and geolocation data. So go through this any one of the use cases. I will explain this one use case, mission and sensor data. So how we can load the data, and how we can write the queries, and how we can visualize. Actually, I have planned to show in any visualization tool, Tableau, but currently I don't have any license key. Because of that one, I'm not able to show in the Tableau. I have tried to show in the visualization tool, so but I will show in the Excel. Through Excel also we can connect it to Hive and we can visualize the data. So similarly, how we can do in Excel? So similarly, any visualization tools or any kind of reporting tools, we can connect it to ODBC or JDBC driver, and we can visualize the data. So I will show some sample example how we can do by using the Excel. So we'll see how we can analyze the machine or sensor data. So before going to that one, if you want to practice this one, we need to install the Hadoop, Autonomous Sandbox, and this sandbox we need to install. I think previous classes I have shown how you can install the sandbox. So once you install, so after starting the Autonomous, you can access the from Windows itself. You can access the View tool. From here, we can load the data and we can write the queries. And also we can access the Ambari for the monitoring purpose. So coming to the sensor data, so basically the sensor data will have the different kinds of machines, devices data will have. So we'll see what is here. We will take the some heating, ventilation and conditions, air conditioning data, and we will perform some operations and we will load some data. So sensor data is the device that measures the physical quantity and transform into digital signal. So basically this sensor data we will take from the different devices and we can do some analysis. So for doing this one, we can if you want to see, if you want to visualize the data, and if you want to connect it to Hive directly, we need to provide any JDBC driver or ODBC driver. If you want to interact with programming, we need to load the JDBC driver. And if you want to interact with any kind of the reporting tool or visualization tools, we need to load by using the ODBC driver. We can connect it to Hive. So we will see how we can connect it to ODBC driver through Excel. I will show you. So for that we need to load the ODBC driver. I already loaded into ODBC, loaded the ODBC driver, and I will show how we can configure in machine. I will show you. So here we have the some sample data. They will provide some sample data. You can download the sample data. So once you downloaded that sample data, and you can, if you extract it, you will find some CSV files related to ventilation and air condition and heating and different kinds of building information we'll have, and we'll have some queries. We'll have some queries. We'll see that. So once you downloaded the zip file, we'll have the two kinds of CSV files, HVAC and building CSV. So HVAC contains the targeted building temperature along with actual building temperature. So we will take the what is the status from the different sensor devices. We'll take the temperature and we will compare with the general temperature, and we will check whether the particular device is cool or heat kind of analysis they will do. So for that uh, we are taking some data, sample data, HVAC and building CSV. So this, based on this data, we can write some Hive queries and we can analyze the data. So first step is we need to load the sensor data into Autonomous Sandbox. For that, we don't need to use HDFS. So if you want to load through HDFS command, we can load it. And if you want to load easy way is the through browser itself we can load. And if you want to practice the HDFS commands, we can go to Sandbox and we can load the data. We will see how we can load the data from the Hue. And you will have the one more Hadoop ecosystem tool. We have one more tool called H catalog. So H catalog is kind of the table management and data storage management tool. Table management means so we can easily manage the whatever data we are storing into Hive. We can easily manage by using the H catalog. So by using H catalog, we can load the same Hive data. We can access through pig also we can access, and MapReduce also directly we can access the Hive tables. So that kind of table management kind of facility it will provide the catalog, H catalog. So if you want to load the tables or if you want to create the tables directly instead of writing the query through H catalog, we can create the tables. You'll see how we can create. You can go through H catalog. And here if you see we will have the option called create a new table from a file directly instead of loading the HDFS, creating the table by using the H catalog. Directly we can specify, we can create the table, we can give any one of the name, we can give any description, and we can load the input file, whatever the file if you want to load, we can load the input. So whatever the file we have loaded, so we can load this HVAC file. Once you loaded, automatically it will take the whatever the fields are there. It will take the data, and it will read the address, and it will take as a columns automatically. So based on this data, we can create the table. Okay, once the table is created, we can see here whatever the table we have loaded, HVAC1 or 2. So for practicing, I have loaded same data into different tables. And if you want to browse the data, here itself we can browse the data. So directly here we can see the table data, and we can create the table by using H catalog. So instead of writing the HFS commands, create Hive table, loading commands. So this is the easy way to load the data. Through browser itself also we can do it. And for practicing the commands itself, previously we have seen HFS commands and create Hive table, load, and we have seen all these things. Through browser, easily if you want to load, we can easily we can load through browser also we can load. So this is how we can load the different tables, like whatever the tables we have, HVAC and building table, we can building table. So two tables data we have loaded. So we have loaded HVAC, and if you go to this link, they will provide the each step clearly. So we have loaded HVAC data. So we'll have the each step. So how we can load the data? We'll have each step. Like this, we can load the data, and we will load similarly. We can load building data also. We can load. So if you want to see the data, we can visualize the data. And once we have loaded, first step is loading the data. So this is for sample. If you want to practice the flow, we need to load by using the manually. But real time, if you want to load the data, we need to use any kind of scheduling mechanism for loading the data. So this is like a POC. So how you can load the data easily through browser if you want to load the data. So how we can load the data. So till now we have seen the loading data steps. So by using the Hue tool and H catalog, we can easily load the directly. We can create the table by passing the input file. We can load the data. So once we have loaded the data, so we can write the Hive script to refine or analyze the sensor data. So for that we need to write queries, creating the tables, and generally in Hive what kind of things we will do means, So first we will load the whatever the data we will load as a different tables, and then we need to provide the join conditions, and we need to load the data into some other table. We need to load the data. So for that we'll have the two Hive queries, Hive files we'll have. So we can create now we have loaded two tables. The two tables data, building and temperature tables. I'm going to create one more table, HVAC building, by joining the building and temperature tables. Based on the building ID, we are going to load the what we are going to do means one table will have the buildings information and one table will have the temperature information about the each building. Now we are going to join the building ID in both tables, and we are getting the for which building which kind of temperature we have. So that kind of thing, joinings and mapping we are doing, and we are loading into HV underscore building table. So this table will have that data will have. So here if you take, we have joined two things. So date and time, and will join the building ID. So building ID will have building manager, and will system temperature, target temperature, actual temperature, and building, what is the building details. So building age and building manager. So that kind of things will have what is HVAC product, country. So these two things we have loaded. We have joined and we have loaded. After that, we can provide some queries on this one, like country and how many countries are there. We can count, and also we can do some operations like based on this HVAC temperature. We can do some, like if target temperature minus actual temperature greater than 5, we can treat as a cold, and similarly we can provide hot and general, normal. So that kind of operations if we want to provide, we can provide on the whatever the data we have loaded. So we can provide on the HVAC temperature table, we can provide. So this is the temperature we have, these details we have, HVAC temperature. Now if you want to provide some codes, or if you want to calculate, if you want to provide some analysis, so we can write any kind of queries like this, and we can create any tables, and we can visualize the data. First we'll see, execute this command, we'll execute this command and we'll see. If you want to execute the Hive queries directly from here, we can execute and write the query and we can execute. Instead of going to connected to machine and checking the data and checking the job trackers and everything, different places, all the things we can check at one place. We can check. So we can check the HDFS data, we can check the job trackers, and we can write the queries also. We can check. So it is executing the query, and we check here. We can see the status of it is succeeded. So we can see the result. So it will provide cold or temperature, cold or normal or hot, based on the temperature difference. So if it is less than the target temperature, so it will treat as a cold, and based on some condition we can treat as a normal, hot. So that kind of analysis, if you want, we can see. So this is how we can write the Hive queries, how we can analyze the data. So like this we can write some queries, whatever the things if you want to analyze, like if you want to get the country wise count, or if you want to get any kind of that kind of analysis, if you want to do, so we can execute the queries, different queries we can execute, we can see the data here. So these are the steps, different steps. So this is how we can analyze the data. So loading the data and we can analyze the data. So whatever the data if we want to visualize, country wise, how much temperature is there, we can do it, or which building we have more temperature or less temperature. So that kind of analysis if you want to do, based on that one we need to write the Hive query, and we need to analyze the data. So once you have analyzed the data, so we can see the we can if you want, we can visualize the data by using any one of the visualization technology. We can visualize. So if you want to visualize the data by using any tool, first we need to load the ODBC driver and we need to install. So after that we can connect it to we'll have option to how we can connect it to data source. So we will see how we can connect it to Excel. So if you want to connect it to Excel to Hive, so first we need to load the ODBC driver. I will show how we can load. Once you loaded the data, so we can go to this Excel and we can see data from other sources and Microsoft query. So after that we can see the different data sources. So here we can see, once you install the Atomworks, here we can have the Atomworks ODBC driver. We can see from there we can see the whatever the tables are existed, Hive tables we can see, and the tables we can load whatever the columns if you want, we can load the data. And similarly if you want to see some data we can see, and latest versions we have some Power View. So through Power View we can visualize the data by using country wise, whether it is cold we can provide some colors, if it is cold we can provide some normal colors, if it is hot we can provide red colors. So that kind of things, if you want to country wise based report we can provide. If you have the latest version, we can see this kind of Power View charts also we can see. And similarly we can, if you want to see the write the query, if you want to see the data in Excel, we can load the data into Excel. And also we'll have the different kinds of chart, pie charts and bar charts. If you want to visualize the data like that also, if you want to visualize, we can visualize the data. So these are the steps to how we can visualize the Excel. So we'll see how we can load the driver and how we can configure. I will show you. We need to Autonomox will provide the ODBC driver. Once you we can download the based on your system, we can load the 32-bit or 64-bit. So once after downloading, if you double click on, if you install, so once you install in control panel, we can see this driver. So first step is downloading and installing. Once you install, you can go through, you can go to control panel and we can see this driver and we can configure. I will show you that one. So for that we need to go for the control panel, then we need to go for the administration tools, then we can go for the data sources ODBC. So here if you observe, once you loaded the ODBC driver, so here we'll get the data. So if you want to add, so directly here we can add it. So already we have loaded the Works driver. Once you loaded the driver, we need to configure the which server we need to connect. So currently we are running the Hive server in this machine. So 192.168.217. So that's why I have provided this IP, and the Hive port number is 10,000. If you want to connect it to Hive server, so 10,000 is port number, and we need to specify the what is the server type, Hive server 2, and we can provide any username if we are having. So we can provide, and once if you want to test, we can test it, test the connection. So once it is able to connect, so we can see text completed successfully. So we can load the data. That means we have successfully configured the ODBC driver for connecting to Hive. So this whatever we have configured, so this one we can through Excel we can connect it to that Hive source, and we can load the tables, and we can visualize the data. Similarly, any visualization tool is there, we can connect it to that ODBC, and we can load the data. Okay, present I don't have latest version of Excel. Currently I have the old version 2007. So if we have the latest version, we can have the more visualization tools. We can see more visualization like Power View, and we can see more. I will show the whatever existing charts are there. Based in that one I will show you. So if you have the old version also, we can connect it to this one. How we can connect? So go to Data tab and Existing Connections. Go to Data and go to From Other Sources, and go through from Microsoft Query. And here we'll have the sample Works Hive DSL. So we can connect it to this one. Okay, if you want to connect, so we can go through Data. So we can go through Data, and we can go through Other Sources, Microsoft Query, and we can connect it to, I think this one is not working. I have the two things I have enabled. So this one we are able to connect. So once we have made the connection, so whatever the tables we have in Hive, so we can see in Excel also we can see. So here whatever the tables we are able to see, all the tables we can access from the this Excel also. We can see whatever the tables are there. We can access the tables from here also. We can access. So first we will see loading data from the any one of the table. We will try to load the data from the any one of the table. We will load the data. Okay, we will see how we can load the data from the HVAC underscore building. So we need to select the table, and if you want to load the whatever the fields, if you want, you can load the table data, and then if you want to load the all the fields, you can directly load the data, and next, finish. So it will load the all the data. So once that is completed, so here we can see it will load the data. It will start loading the data. So here it will ask OK. So while loading the data, it will show query from Hadoop getting data. So whatever the data if you have in the table, So full data we can load into Hive. So here we can put filterings, and if you want to put any conditions we can put. So whatever the data it is there in that Hive table, so we can load the data. And now I'm going to do some queries. I want to get the data based on the country wise count I want to get. So for that I'm going to write some query. How we can visualize the data. I'm going to write the query for getting the country and country count. So whatever the data if you want to load through my Microsoft query, we can load it. And if you want to modify the query, you can modify the query. And I'm going to this one. So now I'm going to write one query for getting the country and country wise count. So if you want to change the query, and we can execute the query also. If you want, we can execute. 1 minute, I think query having some problem. We need to change the query syntax and then done. Whatever the query syntax, it will support SQL. So that kind of things we need to write here and we can execute. So once it is executed, so whatever the query we have written, so we'll get the country wise count. So we'll get the country and we'll get the count of country we'll get. So this data if you want to load into Excel, and we can load this data, and if you want to see visualization, we can see the visualization we can see. So we can return to data. We can return whatever the query data we have here. If you want to this window, Microsoft query window, if you want to change the SQL queries, any kind of Hive queries, so we can change and we can interact and we can load the data. So once we have loaded the data, so we can return this data, whatever result we have got through queries. So we have returned to Excel. So here the data it will be loaded. So currently I think I have pointed the cursor here, so data it will load here. Basically if you pointed here, the data load from here. So this data it will be load from the query. So whatever data is there, so we can see here. So like this, we can whatever the data if you want, can load the data, and this data if you want to visualize, we can visualize this. So in Excel, we'll have the different kinds of bar charts and pie charts we'll have. So if you want to visualize data as this one, so we can visualize the data. So if you observe here, so we'll have the country wise, and country wise how much count is there. So like this, whatever the data we will load into Excel, so we can see as a different kinds of charts we can visualize. So if you want to see the bar charts, you can see bar charts, column charts if you want, any kind of 3D or the code. So like this we can visualize the whatever the things. If you want to see like pie charts, we can see pie charts also. So like this, if you go through a particular country, you'll see how much count is there, we can see. So like this, so whatever the visualize, so how we can visualize the data, so we can visualize. So this data we can, if we want to save as, we can save as images, and we can copy and we can change the image. So like this, so we can visualize the data. So for how the steps will be there, so for that, for the sample, how the flow will be there, for that only I am currently showing Excel. But in real time, we will use any kind of reporting or the any kind of visualization tools we will use for the more visualizations and more kind of different charts like area and dot charts or any scatter charts. So that kind of things. If we want our area charts, we can go for the area charts. So like this, if you use the more visualization tools, good like Tableau, ClickView, so we can connect it to this data source and we can see more visualizations in the Tableau and ClickView. So this is how we can visualize the data. So through Excel also, so whatever the technology, whatever the visualization tools, it will support the ODBC and JDBC. We can connect it through ODBC Driver and we can load the data. And if we want, we can query and we can visualize the data. So these are the steps and how the flow it will be there in the real-time project. So generally what we'll do means we will load the data. So whatever the analysis we want to do, we will analyze, and that data we need to clients or the third-party users, we need to provide that whatever we have analyzed the data, we need to visualize as a charts and graphs and reports. We need to load the data. So this is how we can load and process it, and how we can do it. So these are the ecosystem tools we'll have. Similarly, if you want to load any kind of instead of loading the analyzing, simply if you want to match the data from the different tables, and if you want to load into any kind of NoSQL, so we can load into any kind of NoSQL like HBase also we can load. So once we load into HBase, so we can load that HBase or any NoSQL data through Java code or any other programs. We can load the data into applications, web applications, we can load the data. So if you want to analyze, we can analyze. If you want to store the data, whatever we have analyzed as a NoSQL databases, suppose if you have the more connected data, we can load into graph databases like Neo4j. Currently in my project also, so we have the lot of, we are handling the some product data, so like the motors and motor temperatures, voltage, and we'll have the lot of connected data is there. So that all the data we have loading into that connected data, we are loading into Neo4j graph databases. So from there we are reading and we are showing into that web application, we are showing and we are loading the data. So this is how we can how the real time the flow will be there, loading, analyzing and visualizing the data. So based on the use cases and based on the projects, so we will use the different tools for the loading and analyzing and visualizing. So for visualization, we'll have the different tools like data meal, also one of the tool, and ClickView. Popular tools for visualization, Tableau and ClickView. And I think one more from data variation side and BI tools also will have some tools like Pentaho, Talent D for connecting the Talent, I think, for connecting to HDFS to data warehousing systems. And visualization will have the Tableau and ClickView, and also one more tool also there, SAS also there, SAS. So we have the lot of tools for integrating third-party vendors are there for the integrating with the Hadoop ecosystem. So like this, we can analyze the data and we can visualize the data. So this is the one example how we can visualize and how we can see sensor data. Like that temperature, if you have the latest Excel files, we can see the different countries, how much temperature is there, whether it is cold or hot. So we can, if you have the latest version Excel, so we can see that power view also we can see. So through using Okay, by using the power view, so like this we can see the country wise. Also we can see the how much temperature, whether it is cold, normal, hot. Also we can see. So this is the one example use cases. So similarly we'll have the different kind of use cases. You can go through these use cases and try to practice, then you will get some idea. So why what are the uses of the tools and what is the flow, so we can use, and we'll have the video for that one, and we'll have the step by step screenshot also there. So if you want to, first we can go through the videos, then you will get one idea. Go through this video, so then you will get more idea to how to analyze the data. So then you can go through the steps and you can load some data into Atomworks and you can practice. So that is very for understanding the process and understanding the tools, it will be very useful. Okay, that's all for the this use cases. You can go through this link, so then you will get more idea and more knowledge on these tools. Thank you.